I would take more validity about what you have to say than some hotshot model plugging the latest thing from Philip Morris or something like that. Okay, that's all I'm saying there. By the way, if you hear a lot of wind noise in the background, why I sound so subdued, I'm subdued because I'm tired. I should have slept in, but I didn't get enough sleep last night. Doing better now than I have all weekend, partly because I don't have to go to my day job today. And also I'm outside because it is a very nice day out here. And the acoustics on the next couple episodes are probably going to sound a little weird because I'm going to do them both outside, out here at Rotary Park in Kirksville. So it is a gorgeous day, but there is a little bit of a breeze here, always up here in the picnic shelters, even on a calm day. There's just a little bit of a hint of a breeze. So that's why you're hearing traffic noise in the background, that type of thing. And hopefully I won't sound like I'm dead to the world, because I am very, very groggy, but energetic enough to record these podcasts. Getting back to the topics at hand on this Friday show, we often hear about people getting up in arms over the Second Amendment. This was written by a friend of mine on Facebook the other day, and it's something I wanted to share with you on this program. But our U.S. government has been blatantly breaking our Fourth Amendment rights for several years now and should be held accountable, especially since 9/11. Things like illegal wiretapping, data mining, surveillance is all being used every single day, and it is wrong. If we give everything up to a police state with the excuse of fighting terrorism, then the terrorists have already won. Here's the Fourth Amendment, okay? A little history lesson for you. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. For example, and this happened to me a few years ago, I was pulled over and for expired tags, and the officer wanted to search my vehicle, and I refused. I know he was a Missouri State Highway Patrolman. I know he was doing his job, doing what he was trained and told to do, and he probably had probable cause. But I had nothing to hide, and I knew that. But without a warrant, you're not searching my vehicle. And he said, "Sir, I could arrest you." He said, "Yeah, you can, but the charges won't stick. You can talk to my lawyer, but until I see a search warrant, you are not searching my vehicle. I'm a taxpayer of this country, and I do have rights. One of those rights is unreasonable search and seizure. And I will not allow you to search my vehicle." And after more discussion, he finally saw things my way. So, something to think about, because a lot of people are up in arms over about losing their arms. And I'm talking about guns. And I guess if I were a gun owner, I would probably feel that way. But I don't. I personally do not like guns. I prefer not to be around them if I don't have to be. I'm not saying that I'm going to take your guns, nor do I believe that the government should take your guns away. By law, we're not, our government can't take them away unless you break the law and have been convicted of such. But I think we should be more concerned about losing our Fourth Amendment rights, which affects everybody. Whereas the Second Amendment only protects roughly, 60, 80% that own a gun or have access to a gun. Something to think about. Well, it is Friday, August 23rd, and in just a moment, let me turn this way, get out of the wind a little bit. I'll have today in history, but before we do that, boy, I wish I had a windsock on this headset. A couple of reminders on this date in history. Day for the remembrance of the slave trade and its abolition in the United States. And it's Black Ribbon Day. Today commemorates the victims of Europe's totalitarian regimes. And a few items off the What's Happening calendar. The Colorado State Fair and Rodeo, running from now until Monday, September 2nd in Pueblo, Colorado. The Nebraska State Fair running from now until Monday, September 2nd in Grand Island, Nebraska, and the Oregon State Fair running from now until Monday, September 2nd in Salem, Oregon. All right, it's time now for Today in History. And then coming up in just a few moments, we'll have market information, plus a whole lot more, so stick around. This is the First Cup for Friday, August 23rd, 2013.
Nadejela. Nadejela.
August 23, 1939. In Moscow, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union sign a non-aggression pact. The treaty divides Eastern Europe into spheres of Nazi and Soviet influence, just days before the Nazis invade Poland, the start of World War II. 1927. In Boston, Italian-born anarchists Niccolo Sacco and Bartolomeo Vanzetti are executed for the murders of two men during a robbery. 50 years later, Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis proclaims that any stigma and disgrace should be forever removed from their names. But controversy over Sacco and Vanzetti's guilt and whether they got a fair trial persists to this day. 2003. Also in Massachusetts, defrocked Roman Catholic priest John Gagan is beaten and strangled to death while serving time in prison. Gagan, who was convicted of child sex abuse, became a symbol of the clergy sex abuse scandal that shook America's Catholic Church. 1926. In New York, silent movie heartthrob Rudolph Valentino, one of film's first major sex symbols, dies from a perforated ulcer. He was 31 years old. And 1960.
Getting to know you, putting it my way, but nicely.
Oscar Hammerstein, the Broadway librettist, dies in Doylestown, Pennsylvania at age 65. Among his works with composer Richard Rodgers, Oklahoma, South Pacific, The King and I, and The Sound of Music. Today in History, August 23rd. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Hi everybody. Over the past month, I've been visiting towns across America, talking about what our country needs to do to secure a better bargain for the middle class. This week, I met with high school and college students in New York and Pennsylvania to discuss the surest path to the middle class, some form of higher education. But at a moment when a higher education has never been more important, it's also never been more expensive. That's why over the past 4 years, we've helped make college more affordable for millions of students and families with grants and loans that go farther than before. But students and families and taxpayers can't just keep subsidizing college costs that keep going up and up. Not when the average college student now graduates with more than $26,000 in debt. We cannot price the middle class out of a college education. That's why I proposed major new reforms to make college more affordable and make it easier for folks to pay for their education. First, we're going to start rating colleges based on opportunity. Are they helping students from all kinds of backgrounds succeed? And on outcomes, their value to students and parents. In time, we'll use those ratings to make sure that the colleges that keep their tuition down are the ones that will see their taxpayer funding go up. Second, we're going to jumpstart competition between colleges over innovations that help more students graduate in less time, at less cost, while maintaining quality. A number of schools are already testing new approaches, like putting more courses online, or basing course credit on competence, not just hours spent in the classroom. And third, we're going to help more students responsibly manage their debt by making more of them eligible for a loan repayment program called Pay As You Earn, which caps your loan payments at 10% of what you make. And we'll reach out directly to students to make sure they know that this program exists. These reforms won't be popular with everybody, but the path we're on now is unsustainable for our students and our economy. Higher education shouldn't be a luxury or a roll of the dice. It's an economic imperative that every family in America should be able to afford. Thanks, and have a great weekend.
There needs to be a change.
In the way that you look at me. And the way we look at ourselves.
In the way we look at all transgender people.
The misunderstanding.
The cruelty.
The cruelty.
The violence.
The violence
Needs to end.
Learn about who we are.
Learn about who you are.
And in the end, we may not look so different at all.
These babies have been born with something that affects more people than malaria, cancer, or even HIV and AIDS. Because of it, many of them will be denied an education and condemned to a life of poverty. Thousands of them will be killed. Millions more will be victimized and abused. Because all these babies have one thing in common. They're female.
Getting a hot dog on a premium pretzel bun with melty cheese sauce and crispy bacon here.
Now, what kind of cheese you say?
Melty cheese sauce here.
Any other toppings on that one?
Just that crispy bacon here.
So you're telling me I can get a hot dog on a premium pretzel bun with melty cheese sauce and crispy bacon?
Absolutely.
Oh, no thanks. I already got one.
Welcome back to First Cup for Friday, August 23rd, 2013. And coming up in just a moment, we'll take a look at the nationwide weather forecast as we head in toward the weekend. Wish to remind you to go to my friend Chris's website to get some great custom-made Native American jewelry. You can do so by going to her Facebook page that she has set up, facebook.com/Wishing Stars Native Creations. That's facebook.com/Wishing Stars Native Creations. Do it now. Do it today. Still to come, we'll have a rundown of news headlines, news of the weird, trivia information, as well as the CBS World News Roundup, the song of the day, and who knows what else. Also, what's on TV, plus a whole lot more. Right now, though, take a look at the nationwide weather forecast as we end this work week for TGIF.
Winter weather warning right now. Here's a live look at the Fox 6 snow stick. This is out on the weather deck.
Areas of active weather will persist for the nation this Friday as multiple weather features affect the country. In the east, a cold front stretching from the northeast through the Midwest will continue sliding southeastward over the eastern valleys. At the same time, a low pressure system spinning in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico will continue pushing abundant moisture offshore. These systems will allow for more showers and thunderstorms to persist for the southeast from eastern Texas through the Carolinas and into the mid-Atlantic states. Out west, monsoonal moisture over the desert southwest and Four Corners will continue producing showers and thunderstorms over the region. This increased lightning activity will keep fire dangers high for these areas. In the north, a low-pressure system moves eastward over the Intermountain West and northern Rockies, pushing a warm front into the northern high plains throughout the day. This will bring scattered showers and thunderstorms to Montana, into the Dakotas, this afternoon and into the evening. And looking into the south, Tropical Depression 9E, well, that's a sexy name for a storm, isn't it? Has developed in the East Pacific at about 390 miles southeast of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. The system will continue moving northwestern for Friday, remaining just west of Baja California. However, the flow around the system will push abundant moisture into northwestern Mexico. The system may increase to tropical storm strength, with winds up to anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour. Expect